Welcome back to another video. Today we will check out Belo again. I know we already saw her already, same as NL probably. I reviewed some leaders twice or even three times now, but I wanted to test out a little more about the leaders I quite enjoy, and there are definitely some different deck lists you can play, and I quite enjoy to explore different deck lists. And it always gives me a reason, if I'm doing a video about it, to even try and test out a little, because sometimes I'm like, maybe as everyone, a little too lazy for testing out with new cards, changing a build which I'm quite happy with. So I feel like it's actually nice to have a reason to check out some new deck lists, because otherwise I wouldn't do it anyways. Yeah, here's like a new deck list or some changes I made recently. We played before the bus card Mochi, which is the same as Don't Underestimate America for the trigger, but the other one can only play out trigger cards. This one can play out a revolutionary army, so I cut this card down to 2 instead of 3. I also played the Race Max, which is a new addition a lot of Belo decks played, which I saw lately. Maybe they are not the winning deck, but also maybe a 3rd place or 4th place in Eastern side or even in Western side. So I thought like I can definitely give Race Max a go, and also included the Koala. Some decklist played her and were quite happy about her. So I just wanted to test her out, get an idea on how beneficial she really is, especially because she don't have any counter. I used the Belo as a filling card because there was one spot left, and I thought like, why not including her and just check out if she has any reason and comes up sometimes as a trigger. Because usually the on-play effect could be kind of cool also for gaining or drawing a card. And everything else is kind of the same, I would say. Yeah, I think for the rest it didn't change so much. So yeah, this build is a little more reliant on playing the cards out and less about the trigger, because I cut down the extra trigger. I put the Limburg to 3, also 1 trigger card less. The Koala don't have any trigger. So I feel like also the Race Max no trigger. So yeah, actually you can check out what is the difference to this deck. We also cut down the Fire Fist, which could have been nice at some point. Oh, and also the Don't Underestimate a Miracle was only a 2-off, so okay, we didn't even bump it down. So we cut out these 2 cards and Limburg to 1, and therefore yeah, included the other cards. Okay, so let's go into the first gameplay against Boa Hancock. Oh, maybe first. Always forget. Yeah. So let's go. Yeah, Boa is probably a good matchup for us. She can remove a lot of cards, but she's usually stronger, and as you can see, she trashed a Red Hawk. She's usually stronger into bigger characters and big boards. She benefits from a lot of the new cards from Doffy as well. Like she can play the 7 Warlords of the Sea type cards as well. She's also a blue leader, so she definitely plays more removal and maybe also bigger characters. But in general, I feel like I think she's more easier to handle for us than Doffy. And also I think a little weaker than the Doffy matchup, or the Doffy leader in general. So now we're playing out the Ivankov and going 5 into lead. We could have waited with the Belo. Yeah, but I thought at this point we're getting a pudding out of her hand, which is always nice. So like if we're buffing the Belo and the Ivankov, we can then just play out another card and attack with the Belo Betty at this point. It probably doesn't matter so much. And yeah, she plays out normal Doffy line, Jinbei into Weevil, and then Buggy for rearranging your top cards. I'm actually not so sure about rearranging my top cards as a Boa player, because you don't get so much benefits from it. Of course it's nice to see what you draw, but usually yeah, maybe at this point it doesn't matter so much, because Boa could have KO'd our Belo Betty for sure. Like, I wouldn't counter or give her to counter even as a 5 into 2 is too big. I just thought about her gameplay and not about ours. We play out the Koala, and we take our top life card. In this matchup it's quite nice, because we don't actually need so many life cards at this point. We can definitely afford to trash one. Give minus 3000 to Weevil, attack with Limburg and KOing the Weevil. So gets take some out of his pressure, because Weevil is quite a strong character. 6k power is definitely strong, and we don't have our blocker Koala is only also a 6k character, so we afforded, we switched one life, or we exchanged one life for taking out the Weevil, which is in my opinion like a good trade, but and establishing some cards, but yeah, we needed to make sure there's the bigger Doffy. Yeah, at this point we needed to make sure that we establish a blocker if we take one of our lives, because otherwise she can maybe get kind of close to our finishing range, also because we usually don't have so many counter power. Yeah, so at this point I just wanted to check out the new card. I feel like not really threatened from her board, so like, why not playing it out? And she's playing out the Doffy, giving our Ivankov back to our hand, which is quite strong. We will block the Jinbei with our Koala, and now 5 again into our character. We will just give him a 1k counter, why not? The Limburg is way more beneficial as an attacker. So now give all of them additional 3k. I'm not sure what we can play in the next in this turn. Maybe the other 5 cost Ivankov for cheat out a card. 7 into life. Boa is definitely in a bad spot at this point. She has a good board, but she loses a lot of cards from her life and from her hand. So 8 into 5. She needs to take the blocker, or counter out again. Yeah, so I was thinking about if I really need to play out the Ivankov, the 5 cost, or if I can also just play out the 4 cost Ivankov. But I feel like the 5 cost is better, because I can exchange the Koala, the small one, the red 2 cost Koala, for another card. And yeah, she gives us the Red Hawk and the 0 cost event, which is nice. So we got rid of a lot of cards of her hand, and yeah, there's the Karasu, really nice. Doesn't matter who we give minus 1000. We maybe could have also attacked with Koala first, and then doing the Ivankov play. But I wanted to threaten him also a little more, that he thinks, okay, he can go with maybe 10 into life or something. Yeah, so he bottom decks the... What did he bottom deck? Ah, our blocker, of course, yeah. So maybe she thought she can go for life at this point, I don't know. But we will just give her the counter, I don't know, I don't need any extra card at this point. She only has 3 cards in life and 1 blocker, so we would have won next turn. We have a Karasu, we would have won anyways at this point. So this game was quite fast. She couldn't really get the pressure on board. She had a lot of Red Hawks, which is quite unlucky for her against us. But anyways, we managed to get her down before she got a bigger board, because if she played more 7-cost characters, then we probably would have had a problem. Also, she didn't really try to get rid of our board, which was also a little problematic. I mean, we didn't got really big triggers, but anyways, get rid of the board of Belo Betty is always a good thing. So now we play against Chopper, more low cost, high pressure character like we are. Maybe even lower on the cost. I also saw a Chopper player, yeah, kind of won a big tournament in the East, and maybe also in the West. I'm not sure if there was also on the West side. But yeah, he plays a lot of 3-cost and 2-cost and 1-cost characters and try to go for a lot of small hits. So it's quite nice that we got the trigger from Kuma. But sad as all of his characters are 3-cost or higher, 3k power or higher. Because Kuma can only KO 2k power. Yeah, so we play out the Ivankov. I was thinking about maybe taking the Limburg, because he has so many low character. It's probably way more easy to KO something with Limburg. Trashing the race max, because we probably will not need it at this point. And then just straight go into life. He's only at 3 life at this point. We were also lucky that we had the start. Usually at this point, yeah, Chopper or Zoro wants to go first to be the first one who attacks. He can exchange a lot of characters, so it's usually not so. If you cannot do a heavy board control or take a lot of characters out of his board, it's usually not so beneficial to KO his whole board. So yeah, it looks quite nice for us. We have a big board, still 4 cards in hand, the Karasu. We have 3 cards rested, so he probably will take down all of them. He plays the blocker, this is not so nice for us. He used the leader ability, so all of his characters gain additional don. Also his hiking bear gave plus 1k to Chopper, so we will not counter out anyway, so he can just have it. He could have played out a card, but his board is already full, so at this point no need for him. And he will not go with the other Chopper into our board. Maybe he thinks that he will need it for later, I don't know. Oh, he don't want to give us a trigger, this could be also the point. So I played a Belo Betty Searcher. I was thinking about taking the Koala, because we can take one of our lives, as Chopper is not going into our life. Establishing a 6k blocker, which is nice, and play out the Karasu, so everything that we actually wanted to do this turn. And then we can trash a card, another Koala probably, we don't need it. Probably at this point, we maybe can just finish the board here at this point. And then KOing the walking bear, the hiking bear. And go straight into his life. So now it gets... yeah, now it gets quite dangerous for Chopper, as we push with a lot of characters into his life. I was thinking about KOing the other character, but he would probably give the blocker for the last attack anyways, so it wouldn't have mattered anyways. So our Karasu is on the board, really nice. If he cannot KO this, we have definitely a pressure point. Okay, anyways. He used the Hoodie Jones and tries to rush us down. This is definitely not good. So he has 5 attacks this turn and we only have 2 lives and no blocker. But he only has small attacks. So at this point we can give him all the counter cards we have. So I thought at this point give him 2 1k cards, or maybe speculating for getting a 2k out of the next draw. Because this one we can counter out for 1k for sure. So we took it. So now we give him 2 1ks, and the other Chopper attack we can counter out with another 1k, and we are safe. So we can give him now like the Belo Betty and Inazuma, and for the next Chopper attack another Inazuma, and we won the game. Quite nice. Yeah, this is how it works. Really cool. And oh, I was a little fast at this point. So let's see what his hand looked like. Oh, yeah, I was too fast. Can we get it? No. Maybe going to... Nice. Yeah, okay, he had a Diablo John. Oh, I don't know how to actually say it in English. Or I think it's even French. Diajombe or something like this. The event, the one-cost event where you can get around a blocker, which would be really dangerous for us for a later turn. But at this point, we still had one blocker open, so it was quite nice that we that he needed to play the Hoodie Jones. But yeah, at this point, he just lost. We could have killed him on the next turn, but all of the other cards were just the same. I think he drew too many of this chopper, and also our board was too strong for him. Like we were more pushy than he was. Okay, our next gameplay is against green purple Doffy. Quite a strong character actually against us, because the birdcage is definitely a threat. Okay, he plays the searcher, but he cannot search on the first turn. We use the koala because we don't have any other cards, and we definitely need to put some pressure on. Otherwise his birdcage will catch us too early without any pressure on his life. We need to go as fast as possible here. So it would have been really cool if we would have gone to Belo Betty's. So we could have just played out 2-1 case. I would have also wished that we got some support for Belo Betty in form of more 1 or 2 cost character. Okay, we go 6 into 1. Actually, I thought at this point that it was a misplay, but he definitely tries to counter out, so it was definitely a strong idea for me, or like a strong fail to attack her with the stronger character. So we got an additional 2k out of his hand. So now he goes 7 into our Karasu, really sad, with the sugar. And yeah, at this point we probably should have attacked first. I think I will play the character first, but it would have been better if we attacked at this point first. Yeah. So now we can tap one of our characters, which probably would have attacked him this turn. So kind of sad. My idea was to KO the sugar. But yeah, that's also a reason. I feel like at this point, maybe now I'm thinking more longer about this, there was no right or wrong at this point. Like we wanted to KO the sugar anyways. And yeah, there's the birdcage. And he gets rid of one of our characters with top knot. Kind of like the game idea behind Doffy, playing the birdcage, and then especially strong against leaders like us, where most of our cards are 5 cost or lower. So yeah, all cards get rested and we cannot use them again. And he will never get rid of the birdcage, as he always get rid of some of his Don. So we will never get to the 10 Don at the end of the turn cycle. But we are kind of lucky because we play a really pushy deck and we can play out a lot of characters, and he went also into our life, so we got some extra cards. And we used to play the koala here, so we get also an additional card from our life, and played out the Inazuma for additional rush. And also our koala cannot be rested from his birdcage, or is not affected. So 9 into 4, quite nice. We have the Karasu for next turn again. And also if he uses the like cards like double knot or something, he loses 2 Don for the next turn as well. Because he will still be at the same Don. So now he only has 2 additional Don and can play a queen. He probably would have been as a 9 Don turn now. There's another sugar and he will probably try to KO our... No, he's not trying to KO our Karasu. Okay. He wanted to go for life, we cannot give it to him. Even if we get a trigger possibly, because our board is full. And our Karasu cannot be... yeah, cannot be used this turn because it's only when attacking, kind of sad. So we KO the sugar. Also quite nice, the Kuma KOs the sugar before her effect goes off, so quite nice for us. And we play out another Ivankov and get the blocker Karasu. We probably will not attack with our koala, but we could technically, because he will probably not use the queen. Okay, he gives us 2 cards for the queen. We could KO the queen at this turn. I was thinking about using the leader ability for koala, and I was just checking if it's really 5 cost. So get our koala bigger. Then just go 9 into 5, so he needs to take the life. So next turn, if he cannot establish a big blocker board, we have at least 3 attacks, at least 4 attacks probably. Like maybe he can get rid of the koala, maybe one other card. So he has probably no chance and got kinda overwhelmed from our board. And as we have still 1 blocker, yeah, we still have 1 blocker. He can also not end the turn. Also his queen gets affected from the birdcage. And there's the Hoodie Jones again. Like every green deck is trying to play this card and rush us down. But yeah, we have a 2k counter, no chance. Like yeah, he can have the blocker, why not? And he tapped down 2 cards, so he don't even have a blocker. He doesn't even have a blocker for sure. So now we can push our Kuma, yeah, just go maybe 9 or 10. Nope, we even go higher. 11 into 5. If you don't have big counter events, he lost this game now. Oh, he used the card for stand up the queen, and I thought at this point for sure he has the stand up event. But I was sure his hand was definitely not all 2k counter, because he never really cycled his hand. It was just random cards he'd draw and got from his life, so for sure they are not all 2k counter. So I tried with 11 because I knew that he will play the 4 cost event. And then maybe needs another 2k, which he probably has in hand. It's really likely that he has at least 1 2k. But then he needs another 1k, and I was quite sure that he don't have another one. So yeah, and then he stand up the queen. So yeah, this would have been kinda dangerous for us. Like we probably would have lost the game if we attacked with less than 11. I mean, he only countered out from how many? 9? Maybe only for 10. Okay, if we would have attacked for 10, then we still could have managed to win, but sort of like 11 was more, yeah, like less risky. But I felt like at this point, if I would have been a little cleverer, it would have been probably better to attack with nearly all done. Like maybe give him 2 more, because if he had 2 of the events, then we would have lost at this point. So it was kind of lucky, but I saw it, at least I thought a little about this move and not just random went into it. So kind of lucky for us. Okay, so here we go into Newgate. It's an older leader, quite strong back in the days. Nowadays a little less strong, but still some people like to play him. here we have the race mechs. They are also arrived at a good point in our hand because Newgate usually plays bigger characters where we can need, or where we can use the race mechs at least. And also we go second, so quite nice. We can play race mechs and Belo Betty, so we have 2 attacks for the first turn. So technically race mechs is kind of like a second Belo Betty without the surge, but same attack, so we can go into life next turn. So at this point I was a little scared about this card because, as you can see, he has an on opponent's turn, when this character is KO'd by your opponent's effect, about up to one of your leader gains plus 2000 during this turn. So I was kind of scared, like he blocks the first attack and then with both other I cannot go into Newgate, especially because Newgate has 6000 power, so he then would be an 8k power leader. But I thought it would be also from KO'd by attack, but it actually says KO'd by effect, like the Shira Hoshi. So it's kinda nice for us at this point. We get the trigger, cannot KO sadly, but the trigger was quite nice. At this point we can attack with 4 attacks with 6000 into his leader. I was thinking for a second about playing the Ivankov, but we don't even have a Karasu. Maybe I would have played out the Ivankov if we had a Karasu, then it would be even better, because we can put the Newgate power to 5k power, and then we didn't need it like the 3 Don or like 4 Don for all of our character. But now we need definitely all Don for going 6-6-6-6. Really nice. I'm kinda lucky that we can do it at this point like this. So he needs to give us 4 lives or 4 counter or something. So he takes the first one, nice. Newgate always don't likes to give you his life because he will lose it anyways at the end. And 2k, nice. So we got 3 cards out of his hand and he took 1 life. And he cannot KO all of them at this turn. And he just goes straight to life, okay. Also an idea, maybe he tries to rush us down. But now he has additional 1000, so we cannot push him down. I was counting. So we can only attack 3 times with all of our 1k, like our small characters 1 time. But not 4 times this turn, which is kind of sad. We definitely needed a Karasu. If we had a Karasu, then it would have been way easier. But sadly we don't have any. So now 2 Don for every character and just go straight into life again. So he got in 2 turns, he got 7 attacks, which is quite, yeah, this is definitely quite strong. I don't know why he didn't attack into our board, but he maybe thought we cannot do anything about it if he has a 7 or is a 7 power leader. But he is just at 1 life at this point and he lost so many cards already. Gave us the ace, he gave us the blocker, really nice. But now it's kind of problematic for us, like we are at a difficult point. Okay, he will not go into our board, because if he KO'd our board at this point, like we don't have any bigger characters or anything to get him down, so there's the ace, quite nice, he can get our characters down. But I think I remember, okay, he KOs at least 1 card, okay, he KOs a 2nd card, nice. And there's the Karasu, nice. But he don't have any blocker, so he doesn't have any blocker, so I feel we can go risky and just go straight into life. Yeah, and he didn't have enough counter. I'm actually not sure why I left 1 Don open. Maybe for the counter event, yeah, sure. For next turn, like he had 3 attacks and maybe a rush character like Ace or the other Ace. So I needed to have some counter as well. So I thought like, okay, at least having the counter event up with 1 Don. But probably it would have been better to just go all in. but I was a little scared at this point. But yeah, he didn't have enough. He this is 6-7 counter he needed. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he didn't have enough. Or is this a 2k? I'm not sure. Ace don't have any block counter. Yeah, so yeah, his hand was definitely strong for washing us down the next turns, but not strong enough for yeah, counter out of our big attack. And yeah, this is the problem. Like, he gave us the Mako. He should have played the Mako out for a blocker, so we couldn't finish him at this point. And then we definitely had a problem. Like, if he played the event, I think this is the event for KOing 2 characters probably. I know the sentence is kind of short. I think it's not about 2 characters, but he definitely needed to play a little more protective for his leader. We rushed him down too fast and he couldn't keep up with the pace. So now we play our one of our favorite leader, Nico Robin, to play against. I don't know why, but I play against her a lot. A lot of people like to play her also on the sim, and I think it's quite like it's a good leader, but it's so different, so it's a lot of fun to play against her. And also she's not a meta contender, so it's also nice to check her out. If you can win against her, then usually you're on a good way. If you're losing against her, then maybe you have a problem. Or like, everybody loses sometimes, but if you're losing against her too often, then maybe sometimes, or like against the more roguish leaders, then maybe you have to think about it. If you were just unlucky, or if your deck cannot, or your deck list cannot compete. So now we play our classic combo with the Belo and the Ivankov, 5 into 4, and then another 5 into 4. We have a Karasu on board, Ivankov for next turn play out another card, or we just play out the Ivankov next turn. Like, if she KOs the Belo, then for sure we can use the Ivankov next turn as well. I think it's a little sad that we cannot play the 5-cost Ivankov out with the Koala. This would be so cool. Maybe too overpowered, but this would establish us 4 characters in 1 turn. This for just 6 down and alive. Also, we need to have the hand size for this, for sure. But yeah, usually at the beginning you have this. So this is always said, like, the Nami hurts a lot for this deck. I don't like Nami or seeing Nami on the opponent's board when we're playing with Belo. So we can get out another Karasu really lucky with the Ivankov. So I was thinking about, do I really need to use the lead ability, but I feel like it's definitely needed. We need to put some pressure on. And I hope he don't have another Nami. She doesn't have another Nami at this point. So that's 5 into 4. She needs to give us a 2k or alive. She gives us a 2k, nice. 6 into 4, she needs to give us 2 cards at least, and now she even needs to give us 3 cards at least. So she's already at one life, and we play out the Morley really nice. Our board is completely full. We only have 1 card in hand, of course, and she probably tries to KO our Ivankov, but she can have it. I really don't need it at this point. We have 3 characters, and one of them gets around the blocker. So the best play she can do is probably the Yamato for KOing our Karasu. Yeah, and she does it. Kinda unlucky. And we cannot use the Koala at this point anymore. So we push our character, and we need to go for a game here, otherwise we will lose. So kinda lucky that she didn't got any blocker trigger so far, at least. No, 10 into 5. Yeah. A little scared about the trigger, let's see. Yeah, and she gives up because we probably could have won with the next attack. This is 2, 3, 6, 11. 1, 2, 3. Ah, she didn't have the. Ah, it was her 9 Dawn turn. Okay, so she couldn't left the Dawn open for Gum Gum Giant. Otherwise, she could have countered out at this point. Also nice. Our next triggers would have been. What is the other one? Imperial Ironcroft. Okay, the second one wouldn't have been so beneficial, but the other two would have been triggers. So we could have. Yeah, we would have gotten a 5k trigger card, really nice, 2 times. Yeah, she had a lot of big characters. She could have played next round Lin Lin, put 1 card of our board back into life, maybe starve us out, gain a life, but yeah, kind of unlucky. We were a little too fast for her at this point. Now we go into the last game. This was just a random game I also found, because I don't really see Rosinante that often, so I thought, like, why not testing him out as an opponent. So we get the Searcher first. The Searcher is so important. I like her a lot, especially if you get 2 of the Searcher, quite nice. He resting our Belo Betty. He knows for sure that we try to rush him down, so he gets all of the cards down that we have. At this point I would have loved to play out the Karasu, but because he has the Sugar, like, we need to play out the Kuma. The Kuma is such a big counter against Sugar, and maybe also cool in the next season when there is the new Sugar leader. Ah no, Sugar is a green card and you cannot play it because it's red, purple. But anyways, in this matchup she's kinda strong against us, and Pedro is also a really strong card against us. Check. Oh no, I'm kind of too late. Here, on KO, he can either choose rest up one of your opponent's Dawn, what he will probably not do, and KO up to one of your opponent's rested cost 6 or lower characters. So he can KO a rested 6 cost. So I will find out later, because it's the first time playing against him, that even if you attack into him, like, he can just KO you in the attack, which is quite sad. So our Ivankov, for example, when he or she attacks into the leader, he blocks and KOs her, then the attack will not go through. Kinda sad, actually. There's the Gravity Blade, so unlucky. Gravity Blade hurts a lot against this deck, especially if you can get rid of the Koala or the big Ivankov or even the Karasu. Like, all of the 5 cost for sure, 6 cost and 4 cost hurt a lot if you can get rid of 2. And there's a Riff. I should have played the Koala. At this point I was actually thinking about playing the Koala, but I thought, like, should I play the Koala? Should I play the Ivankov? And then I thought, like, why not getting some extra, how do you call it, some extra benefits from not using a card from our hand. So I needed to at least attack into him. That's why I trashed the life with the leader ability, because I felt like we didn't put any pressure on the board so far. And I was also hoping maybe he uses the Pedro, so he's just at 2 life. And he's playing the blocker kit, quite sad, and the blocker Doffy. So at this point we are at a lot of trouble, and also we don't have any race max. We cannot search the Mace Rex with the Belo Betty, and we don't have a Fire Fist. So get rid of the kit is definitely a problem. Yeah, so what can we do at this point? Not much. We could use the Karasu, like play out the Koala, then play the Karasu, or play even the Ivankov, and then the Ivankov plays out the Karasu with the leader ability. Probably the strongest play we can do, and then we still have 4 leader life open. But then we need to take a life, which could have been also a little bad for us at this point, because we then only had one leader open. One life open, of course. Yeah, but probably this would have been the best play. Playing out the Koala, play out the Ivankov, play out the Karasu. Okay, he counters out. Now I will go 8 into 7. He only has 2 cards in hand left, and I really wanted to play out the Searcher. Oh, there's a Koala, really nice. Minus 3000 is such a strong card. And we still have the Karasu, so we can even go minus 4000 into the kit. So we definitely have some power reduction, but you need to draw the cards and they need to stick on the board. If you use now a Gravity Blade, then we would have had a big problem. But he just have a Red Hawk, which is quite nice for us. He has 2 blocker left. He goes 6 into 4, but we probably need to keep this card. And he plays out another blocker, so yeah, a lot of blocker at this point. We get rid of the Morley for sure, we will not need it at this point. Really nice, we played out the Inazuma with the Ivankov and the Koala with our normal Don. Just play out her out like this, and we still have 8 Don left. So we test the waters, 7 into 5. He only has 1 card left in hand, so he cannot counter out for sure. He needs to give us all blocker that he has at this point. 7 into 5. He used the leader ability, takes the life. He maybe should have done this at the beginning, because I felt at this point he could have gotten an extra card, maybe 2k, to counter out of one of our 7 cost attacks. I don't know what his first card was in life, in hand. So 7 into 5, and we took a soul board. So we took 3 blocker, the leader block ability, and his 8 cost kit, which was quite strong. Like here it was so nice. Now he's playing out the Doffy. I knew for sure he will play out a big character now. So his last card was a Doffy, or one of his cards, so he couldn't counter out even out of the 7 cost attack, which is quite nice for us. Yeah, so we just push the Koala and just go 9 into life. 10 even, so he cannot counter out for sure. So yeah, his end life cards were Doffy and 2k even. So if he had another 1k or something, he could have countered out of one of our attacks, and maybe he could have pulled the kit, but at this point we just overwhelmed him. But on our next life we're also a Koala, and we also draw a Koala, so yeah, I felt like he lost at this point anyways. Quite nice. We are a little like counter for Rosinante, I think, because of the power reduction for the kit. But yeah, anyways, this was our last gameplay for the new Belo decklist. So what can we say about it? The Race Max is quite a nice addition. We didn't really use it for the power reduction, but for being a 1 cost 2k card, it's actually nice. The Belo came up as well. I think I liked her. Maybe we could have played 2 or 3 in the future. Maybe 2 is enough. But the trigger is also quite nice, and then getting an additional card into your hand is also nice. I thought at the beginning, like the Karasu, like when their cards came new out, like the new OP09 cards, I thought the Karasu was quite strong, like a blocker which plays out himself. But actually, I don't know why, but I'm so unlucky, but I never really get him out in a good position and then really use him as a blocker. Usually I just play him out and then use him as a normal attack to go into the board next game. And then if I think about it, then I can also just play the Belo Betty even more and maybe dump this down to 3, or even now maybe 2 is a little less, but 3 maybe, especially because we also have now the newer koala blocker, so I can maybe put this down or bump this up to 2 or even 3, and maybe this down to 3 or 2, because I feel like the additional card to draw and yeah, just have a same stats as the Karasu is actually not that bad. We can search for one power card which maybe, does one of them even have 3000? This has 3000, but it's just a plain card. I mean, this one could be also kind of nice instead of the race max, but the main activate main is also kind of nice for race max. Would be cool if there's a 1 cost 3k with a kind of nice effect, but I think there is not. The buggy could be a good addition, but the on play is kind of useless for us. This one is also, but this is also a flat card, so I think the buggy is probably also a plain card. Yeah, I think there are only these 2 cards, so kind of sad at this point, but I think maybe it would be also too overpowered. If we have his effect is already kind of nice, his activate main, and also the Belo Betty is kind of nice, so I wish there would be another Belo Betty 1 cost, or even a 2 cost kind of. Yeah, and I also cannot see a lot of people dump down the koala or don't even play her. I quite enjoy her, especially you saw in the last game with the kid. She can be really beneficial if you need her, and otherwise she's just a 2k, so why not play her, I would say. And also you saw you probably don't need all of the trigger, but it can be sometimes quite nice to get some additional trigger and card out, and we still have a lot of trigger cards. I maybe thought about putting the Inazuma also to 3 and maybe bump up the Belo Betty, because I feel like she can be also a better card than the Inazuma, and also most of the time you trash the Inazuma anyways or put it as a 1k counter. It's only for rare editions where you can play it out with the Ivankov and then gain the rush, or sometimes don't even gain the rush, so, or you don't need to play the rush. So maybe you can put this one to 3 and this one to 3 and bump her up to 3. Maybe this could be a cool addition as well. Especially now I thought about, like, the Karasu is a strong card, but especially against black he can be removed so fast, and it's like a really situational card, and you have to be lucky for him. So in general I prefer more of the other pushy characters, and most of the time you are so fast that either the opponent goes for your life but you are faster, or the opponent goes for your characters and then you have the problem with starving. But otherwise it's really rare that you go for a longer game where you need a blocker, and it can be beneficial, of course, if the opponent goes for a rested Karasu, went first for life with a maybe 5k attack just to get rid of it. And yeah, but this happens also not so often now I think about it. Yeah, anyways, I quite enjoyed the deck list. I thought like the missing triggers would be kind of sad, but in general I felt, yeah, quite nice with the deck list. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it as well. If you like the video, yeah, if you like the video, like the video, and please subscribe. I'll try at least to post 2 videos every week, maybe 3 sometimes, depends on how much time I have. And yeah, let's see what kind of leader I will check out in the future. I'm doing it usually, or like I'm choosing usually from my own preference, like what I would like to play, what I check out, what leader I'm interested in. Like before, of course, I had way more time checking out different leaders because I was not busy recording videos and explaining about the leaders and make some thoughts about it, maybe watching other people doing the videos. So nowadays I have a little less time for yeah, just playing on my own and just checking some stuff out which I would really like to play. So that's why I'm sometimes doing leaders again, because I just feel like they have a new build or new cards, and just want to check out a little more about the decks, which I quite enjoy. And I think I also will do the Belo in real life for a card game deck, because it's also really cheap. So if you're looking for a cheap deck, this is definitely your deck. Like most of the cards are just cents, like every of them. I think like Koala maybe is the most expensive card for maybe 20 or 50 cent or something, because she's an SR, but all of the other cards are just cents. And if you, for example, I'm living in Europe, so if you use the card market shopping wizard, you can check out most of the cards and find most of the cards maybe for 2 cents in a bundle. Then you maybe order for 3 or 4 different people, or like seller. They will give you each like €1 something for shipping, and then you have maybe for 10 euros or something, or maybe 10 is a little less, but maybe 15 euros you have a complete deck of yeah, quite fun at the locals. So yeah, I quite enjoy a deck. It's also kind of, I feel like it's not a beginner friendly deck. Sometimes you have to think a little about the different plays, but if you test a little for it, it's definitely not a hard deck. Anyways, have a good day and see you in the next video. Bye.